NBA Cup playoffs are here. First quarterfinals games in the East were played last night. As of recording, the level of competition is super, super high. We've seeing a lot of physicality, seeing a lot of really high level stuff going on in these games. And I thought out of those two games last night, the one that was definitely more interesting to me was the Miami Heat versus the Orlando Magic. The Orlando Magic started off the game after the first quarter down 30-17, shooting really poorly from the field. But in that second quarter, they outscored Miami 39-27. Their offense really got going. They went from down 13 to only down 1 at the half, and that momentum was really in their favor for the rest of the game. So in this video, I'm going to go through and break down, all the interesting possessions for the Miami Heat in that second quarter, for the Orlando Magic in that second quarter, and see why the Orlando Magic were able to turn it around and really, put the game in their favor. Remember to like the video and subscribe if you want to see more. I'll be doing more videos like this soon. Sorry for the lack of stuff going on recently. It's currently finals week. Been kicking my ass a little bit. But yeah, without further ado, let's just jump right into the game. Paolo Banchero is able to drive in, collapse the defense, draw a three. Norman Powell is sagging a little too far off that three for Jalen Suggs. And that was really, I think, the bucket that started things off for the Orlando Magic in this quarter. After that Suggs three, you'll see something that the Magic weren't doing super well in the first quarter, but were doing super well after that throughout this game was getting back in transition. The Miami Heat love to play with a ton of pace. Great on-ball defense by Desmond Bane, Paolo Banchero, getting attacked on the isolation there. That's the problem for the Magic a lot. Early in this game was their help was not great. They've been getting back in transition, but they just are really getting burned at the rim throughout this game. Going to see an out of bounds set here for Desmond Bane. He's going to come away from this off ball screen over the top of Goga Bitadze. He gets plenty of space. It's a good shot fake there. That's why I love Desmond Bane coming into this team during the offseason. It's for that exact reason. Gives them that extra punch that they need in a lot of these offensive situations, especially these out of bounds plays, because they didn't really have anyone that you could put in motion, put on these shooting threats. And in a game of 48 minutes, you'll have maybe 3, 4, 5 of these types of plays, but being able to convert on them a lot of times is the difference between winning and losing, and bringing in a guy like Desmond Bane is huge. He was super hot in this game, 37 points, just shooting lights out from three. Getting him started here was a big part of just the Magic getting going in this game in general. He had 10 points in the quarter. Again, you'll see good transition defense. The Orlando Magic always pride themselves on their defense, as we watch this clip one more time here. Generating turnovers was a big part of how they were able to come back in this game. Miami loves to run in transition. They were doing a good job of getting those swipe downs and getting back moving the other direction. That's the kind of downside of playing super, super fast like the Miami Heat do, is if the other team's transition defense is doing what it's supposed to be doing, getting back, generating those turnovers, then if they can counter push in transition, your defense basically stands no chance. You see Tristan da Silva getting the easy and one there. On this next possession here, the Heat love to push up the floor, get into space, as they always do. Jaime Jaquez has been super aggressive throughout this game and will continue to be super aggressive, looking for Paolo Banchero on the perimeter one-on-one. Obviously, the Heat love their, isolation kind of perimeter style offense. And what he's able to do is he drives in, he pops back out. This is something that you'll see throughout this game more, is Paolo Banchero is really just not doing his job defensively a lot of the times. He's not making the rotations, not necessarily giving so much effort. And because of that, Jalen Suggs has to collapse in. Goga Bitadze is already in. Technically, Paolo Banchero should already be rotating out to Norman Powell. That should be his rotation, but he just doesn't close out to Jaime Jaquez. And then because he's not closed out to Jaime Jaquez, he's not in position to contest Norman Powell on this three. It's a tough contest regardless, but you'd like to see him be in a slightly better position. On this next play, after a foul from Desmond Bane, just a on the floor foul, you'll see again the Miami Heat love to get these drives in, but the Orlando Magic do a good job of bringing over that extra defender. They have done a pretty good job adjusting to what was going wrong in the first quarter, as they were giving up a ton of these layups because the second line of help was not there. But Tristan da Silva gets blown by, stays with the play. Goga Bitadze is there and trying to shoot over two taller defenders. Never really going to go in your favor. That's a good stop for the Magic. Off of that stop now, you're going to see Desmond Bane pick up his dribble. Paolo's going to attack one-on-one. And that is what Paolo Banchero does super well. That's why you have a guy like Paolo on the team. Desmond Bane has to pick up his dribble, but look at Paolo Banchero. He's up high in space, one-on-one with a mismatch with Norman Powell. He's going to want to get downhill. And look how spaced out the Magic are. This is something that I think Desmond Bane has brought to the team is now Miami can, or not Miami, Orlando can play with these space out concepts, right? Because you have Tristan Da Silva, good shooter, Desmond Bane, good shooter, Jalen Suggs, good shooter, Goga, obviously just doing a little something off ball. Khalil Ware is not going to bite on that. But look how much opportunity now that they can play with this 5-out spacing now that they have a threat like Desmond Bane. Jaime Jaquez doesn't want to help. Norman Powell can't do anything against Paolo Banchero one-on-one, so Pelle Larsson has to step up. But now you're in the position where you have Paolo Banchero running downhill. He's going to get fouled. You have Jalen Suggs off the ball who's going to be in position for a three. This is just not a defensive situation that you want to be in. You ideally would want Pelle Larsson sticking with Jalen Suggs, and you would want Khalil Ware being able to step up and try and contest Paolo Banchero. But the problem is that switch initially with Norman Powell put them in a bad situation. And I mean, that's just Paolo Banchero basketball. Bully ball all the way downhill to the rim, gets the N1. That was the other thing. You see a stat line on the bottom of your screen there. Paolo had not been shooting super well to start off the game. Picked it up a little bit towards the end, which helped them bring up that momentum. And it started really with this and one play here. Off of the free throw from Paolo Banchero, you'll see it again here. The Orlando Magic do a great job of matching up in transition. Yes, Simone Fontecchio is open under the rim, but look at this play from Jalen Suggs. He's able to get into position. He's within the restricted area, so technically it would not be a charge, but Simone Fontecchio travels here. Just a good job of getting into position there and stopping that transition break, which is what you need to do playing against the Miami Heat. Anthony Black is a player for the Magic who I've been really impressed with this season, just playing his role. Super, super active physical defender, great size. He's been able to, be more of a shooter, be more of an off-ball player next to some of these other guys. Obviously, the Magic playing without Franz Wagner in this game. I forgot to mention that at all earlier. But so they come out with some different lineups and whatever. You see Wendell Carter, Jonathan Isaac. They've been using Wendell Carter as more of a stretch guy. He's been taking some threes, so that allows them to continue with that spacing look, which is totally 180 degrees different from what we saw from the Magic last year. Little off-ball set for Anthony Black, able to get into the paint. It's not a shot that you hate, just not one that he was able to finish. Jalen Suggs here off the inbounds, working up high. This is something that the Magic were not doing in this first quarter. As you see Anthony Black getting into the paint touch here. This is a great situation for the Orlando Magic offense, but that's beside the point. This is something that you weren't seeing them doing so much in the first quarter, is just this motion. If I rewind here, this doesn't look like it's going to be a great possession offensively for Miami, or for Orlando, I should say. Wendell Carter with the ball here, fakes the three, but this handoff here, this off-ball motion from Anthony Black, getting down into that paint touch, easy lob. It's just that simple stuff, those handoffs, those extra moves that Orlando wasn't able to get off in the first half, or in the first quarter, I should say. This next play, these DHOs are really getting the Orlando Magic going, obviously with Desmond Bane, now with Jalen Suggs, with Anthony Black previously on the last play. Just able to get those paint touches, and I mean, if you can literally, it's a cliche that you hear so often. You need to get paint touches. You need to get paint touches. But it really is the truth. Look how this DHO, simple DHO, Jalen Suggs is able to get Tyler Hero on his back. Now look, you've got Simone Fontecchio is looking. Jaime Jaquez is looking. Bam Adebayo obviously has to play the drop coverage. He's looking. There's space over here for Anthony Black. There's space over here for Desmond Bane off of this. Gets into the paint. There are 4 Miami Heat defenders touching the paint and one looking at the paint now. Obviously, Jalen Suggs just pulls that mid-range jumper, which is, fine shot for him, but it's just generating so many more open looks, generating so many more outlets that you can get to. Obviously, Jalen Suggs could have pulled that too, like he did, made the shot. We could have kicked it out, but just these simple DHOs are really allowing those paint touches, and those paint touches are really opening things up for the Magic. Another thing you'll see is the Miami Heat are getting certain opportunities in this quarter that they're really just not capitalizing on. Davion Mitchell here with a decent opportunity for a floater in transition, just can't get it to fall. And that results in another opportunity for the Magic to close in on this opportunity to make this a one possession game. Get the ball back to Wendell Carter. It's another DHO. Another paint touch, and Desmond Bane has that runway to get downhill. These DHOs are really dicing up the Miami Heat so far in this game. Watch this play one more time. Yet again, Wendell Carter in the middle of the floor, hand off Desmond Bane, able to play off of it, gets downhill, gets past Bam Adebayo because he's playing too high up on the coverage. And that is not saying Wendell Carter Jr. is a stretch big, but Bam has to be aware of that. He can't commit fully to the drop because of Wendell Carter playing that pop. All of a sudden, game that was firmly in the hands of Miami over the past couple possessions has really turned around. This is one of those plays, obviously, but now it's just a 4-point game, forcing the Heat to call a timeout. Desmond Bane is getting hot. Paolo's getting involved. Everyone's getting involved. They found a recipe to continue to work for the rest of the quarter and honestly the rest of the game. Bam on the elbow. This is a possession that you like if you're the Miami Heat. This is something that Bam wants to get into. Just a missed shot. Again, it's just another missed opportunity for the Heat. Immediately off of that, you're going to get Desmond Bane working in isolation, and that's just a tough bucket. When you have a guy like that who can get hot from three, get hot from outside, and then also attack on a perimeter like this, yeah, you can see they're afraid to help as much on this play because previously, obviously, Paolo was able to get the ball up high and push it in for the and one, so they're a little less willing to send that early help. They don't want to foul him. But now, look, Bam and Wiggins are both not quite in position to get this contest here. Jonathan Isaac crashing in for the offensive rebound if it's there. But, that earlier play from Paolo, those earlier drives from guys like Jalen Suggs and Desmond Bane, making them a little more reluctant to help. They really don't want to foul in this situation, and that just gives Desmond Bane the open lane. We get the sideline out of bounds here. Quick inbound to Davion Mitchell. Going to get Tyler Hero coming off an off-ball screen. This is great defense from Anthony Black, taking away all that space, staying in front on the drive, and the block as well. This is really the Magic's superpower, is they have so many of these different guys that really just do so much work defensively. I want to watch this again from Anthony Black because this is just textbook on-ball defense. Forces him left, stays in front, gets the block, springs them for a transition opportunity here. Gets the three. Misses that, but it was a good look yet again generated off of that stop from Anthony Black. So, it's just a combination of their offense is opening up. Desmond Bane is getting hot. They're playing that 5-out spacing, plus the Miami Heat, not necessarily able to convert because of the way that the Orlando Magic are defending in transition, defending in isolation. That's basically how the Heat want to beat you, is they play this spaced out isolation ball. They play super fast. So if you can get back in transition, and if nobody's beating you off the dribble, the Miami Heat can't really get much going. Gonna get an ISO here for Bam. That's too easy for him. Obviously, you don't want to send the help because he's not really hit those shots before. He had that one jab step pull from the elbow before that he didn't make. So I'm okay with them not sending two on that. But obviously, the Miami Heat just trying to establish that in the future. I think you're going to live with, Bam Adebayo elbow jumpers if that's how they want to beat you, though. Obviously the Heat are going to have to get something else going. Desmond Bane yet again getting another paint touch. Just solid relocation. I can't say enough about how Desmond Bane is playing in this game. Quick pick and roll here. Gets Tyler Hero on his back yet again. And this is something that Desmond Bane is super underrated, I think, is just his ability to play within the pick and roll. Gets that paint touch, gets the kick out to Anthony Black. Anthony Black gets back in the paint. Now look at this. This collapse, first from Desmond Bane, then from Anthony Black, getting past Tyler Hero off that kick out. So much space, and Desmond Bane is able to kind of read that and relocate back out to the three-point line. And it's money if he's going to be open like that. I can't say enough positively about how Desmond Bane has really opened up the offense for the Magic, especially in this game. Another defensive possession. Jonathan Isaac is a fantastic defender. Another one of those guys on the Magic who can just hold their own. That's a tough bucket from Andrew Wiggins, but you do love the defense here, right? Everyone's staying at home, staying glued to their man, just trusting that you can make the stops. Anthony Black, yet again, doing a great job on Tyler Hero. Tyler Hero is a little afraid, honestly, after getting blocked before. Going to get the kick out. Jonathan Isaac, for a guy his size, this is fantastic mobility. It's a great contest. Honestly, it's the best you can hope for in that situation, forcing Andrew Wiggins into a step back three. If he makes it, he makes it. It's good defense. Getting right back into the offense, though. Desmond Bane wants the clear out on this possession. Going right at Tyler Hero. They send the double. They're going to blitz him on this play. They're too scared of him. Now it's Andrew Wiggins. So much space between these two guys. Both of these guys are willing to shoot the three. Jalen Suggs will pull it. Money. Desmond Bane yet again opening everything up for the Magic. 1 point game now. Heat are trying to push back. Magic do another good job of getting back. This was something that just completely unrelated to the game. The shot clock broke like 2 or 3 separate times while I was watching this game. It was frustrating, but that's beside the point. I love this camera angle of Jamal Mosley. He is locked in. Yes, sir. Right. Yes, sir. So off of 2 free throws for Davion Mitchell, Jalen Suggs will bring it back up yet again. Quick little handoff here, and again, the pick and roll with Wendell Carter, getting that paint touch high off the rim, but it's another good opportunity because if you look at this again, look, simple stuff. It's these simple high actions that are getting the Heat backpedaling defensively. You're getting Bam to commit to this action here. When he goes up for this, Bam is now out of position for that offensive rebound, and you've got 2 7-footers basically fighting with 2 wings for this rebound. Orlando Magic going to come up with this every single time. Another 3 for Jalen Suggs. Can't quite hit on that one, but it's a great opportunity. Heat trying yet again to push in transition. Good transition defense. Way to get back and match up. Look how quickly they get this ball up. There is 21 seconds on the shot clock when he crosses half court. And there are still 3 Orlando Magic defenders all the way back to the top of the 3-point line. Just great job getting back, great awareness, knowing what the other team wants to do. It's a good contest. Another high pick and roll. And Wendell Carter is wide open. The Miami Heat just have not been able to figure out these high pick and rolls, these high handoff actions. I mean, it's just a great screen from Wendell Carter Jr. This movement from Anthony Black kind of confuses Tyler Hero a little bit. Look at the help that you have here. You have Wiggins and you have Pelle Larsson here. So if Wiggins goes up to help, obviously he's the guy that you'd prefer trying to contest this shot rather than Pelle Larsson. But if he goes up to help, Jalen Suggs, who's been hot from 3 in this game, is open here. You have Pelle Larsson here, who if he goes up to contest, Jonathan Isaac is going to be open. You obviously are going to need, if Bam is committed to playing this drop coverage, you need one of Davion or Tyler Hero to tag Wendell Carter here on the roll. Problem is, Tyler Hero doesn't want to leave Anthony Black because of that little, cut motion under the pick and roll that he made. So you have Tyler Hero tethered here. Davion Mitchell is going to commit to the ball, and there's just no one in position. Bam can't get over there in time. Yet again, these simple high pick and roll actions, high handoff actions. As you see Pelle Larsson get hurt, I don't think he actually comes back for the rest of this game. But it's just those simple high actions. The Miami Heat are really struggling to defend. Orlando's getting easy paint touches, and their guys are just hitting their shots. Never like to see a guy go down like this. Hopefully he's all right. Interesting lineup that the Heat are going with here. You've got Tyler Hero and Norman Powell checking into the game wherever he is. Here he is. He's going to be inbounding the ball. But you've got Tyler Hero and Norman Powell, your 2 best offensive players, arguably. You've got Wiggins, you've got Davion, you've got Bam. This is an offensive lineup right here. Getting the sideline out of bounds after the timeout. You need a bucket in this situation in a 1-point game. Let's see what they draw up. Quick inbound to Davion. You're going to get Wiggins lifting. And they want to get to Bam in the post here. They've had a mixed success, obviously. I think 1 for 2 on this kind of shot in the quarter. So let's see if Bam can get something going. Just out of control. They get the ball to Bam, obviously, on the block here. Wendell Carter forces him baseline. Paolo is there to kind of, be a presence, alter the shot. He's out of control, thinks he was fouled, obviously, but I mean, it's just good defense from Wendell Carter, kind of pseudo pulling the chair there. Honestly, this is definitely a missed opportunity for the Magic here off of that Bam miss. They don't identify Anthony Black, wide open under the rim. They swing the ball around, and eventually the Heat are able to get out of rotation and match back up. It's yet another one of those high picks. Wendell Carter, yet again. I don't know how many times I have to say this in this game, but it's just the simple high pick and roll, forcing Bam to step out onto the action. The help here is going to be Davion Mitchell and Norman Powell are in position because obviously Bam has to backpedal to worry about Anthony Black coming over the pick. I mean, just the real problem is no one for the Heat has really been able to navigate these screens, especially the Wendell Carter screens. And that's just generating basically free paint touches because Bam has to commit to the ball handler. The roll man gets open. Barbecue chicken. Again, the Heat are getting back into their spaced out kind of isolation offense here. They really want to get Bam involved. He's being aggressive so far. Nice turnaround jumper. But, I mean, that was probably going in. That's a real unforced error from Andrew Wiggins there. That's tough, especially in a 1-point game. So just, combination of Orlando, getting good offensive opportunities and then some missed opportunities for the Heat. The Heat have had success, getting some of these opportunities for Bam kind of in space in the post, but just not really able to convert. Kind of an inverted pick and roll to get Paolo Banchero downhill. And if he's going to get downhill, you're not stopping him. This is such a strength of his. Obviously there are a lot of weaknesses in Paolo Banchero's game, but I mean, you get him switched on to a guard, he's able to just get downhill. And look, the help here is going to be Wiggins. The help here is going to be Davion Mitchell. Bam is, still over in the corner. Still worried about Wendell Carter yet again. Not a stretch big, but, just have to think about it. Jalen Suggs is wide open in the corner because Norman Powell has to zone up these two shooters because of this help. But I mean, Paolo is just a freight train downhill. There's not really much you can do to stop him. And guess what the play call was? It was another high pick and roll, just kind of an inverted one with Anthony Black setting the screen. It's hard to say it's an inverted pick and roll when it's a 6'7" guard setting a screen for a 6'10" forward, but it is what it is. Finally, the Heat are able to get something going, and it's literally just like a tiny mental mistake here. Davion Mitchell in transition. Jalen Suggs thinks he's going to drive, and he just pulls the three. It's one that you would not love to give up if you're the Orlando Magic, but it's kind of an understandable one. They've been trying to get downhill all game. They've been kind of a little more reluctant to take some of those early threes because of how well Magic are getting back and contesting those. So, honestly, fair enough. You can see the Magic are just spamming the same action basically every time. It's some kind of high screen, some kind of high handoff up top, getting the ball in their hands of one of their playmakers. It's just simple stuff. Paolo honestly could attack this here, but he does pick up his dribble. He sees Jalen Suggs open in the corner because, yet again, look who it is. Davion Mitchell has to step over to help Anthony Black rolling to the rim. And Jalen Suggs gets a decent look in the corner, just can't hit it. This is a great defensive possession here from Tristan da Silva. They've really done a great job of shutting down Tyler Hero, which if you can shut down Tyler Hero, that will go a long way. Probably their best offensive player. You could make the argument for a guy like Norm Powell, but Tyler Hero really is the guy for the Miami Heat. So if you can get Anthony Black earlier and now Tristan da Silva one-on-one in space, locking up, that's just textbook. He gets his arms up, gets vertical, out of the path. Jalen Suggs goes for the block here. Honestly, look, he didn't need to, but you love the effort. That's who Jalen Suggs is. He's always going to be trying to make the extra play there. Just the defense for Orlando in isolation has been spectacular. And again, the Miami Heat want to play that ISO basketball, but if their skilled players are going to get locked up by the defenders, it's tough. Off the free throws from Tyler Hero, it's going to be Banchero bringing the ball back up. And you're never going to guess what action they get into yet again. Wendell Carter setting a screen up high for Anthony Black. Anthony Black all the way into the paint, and it's an easy layup. The Heat are struggling to figure out how to defend this kind of action. And again, it's because they keep using Anthony Black in these situations, he's been fantastic with the ball in his hands in these situations. Obviously, he had some missed shots, maybe a little too aggressive in the first quarter if you watched the full game. But in the second quarter, he's been fantastic with the ball. They love the matchup that he's got. He's either got Norm Powell, Tyler Hero, whoever it is on them. They love that matchup. They want to get those guys involved in the action. And it's just always putting Bam in such a tough position. 2-on-1 here. Tyler Hero is going to try and step in to help. But it's just a good move from Anthony Black getting all the way down to the rim. And Bam is kind of just in hell when you think about it on all of these actions. His boys never are able to navigate the screen. They're never able to get the pressure that they need. And when they do, for example, earlier with Desmond Bane, he was able to get the defender on his back a couple different times. So, I mean, just solid fundamental pick and roll play from the Orlando Magic, from guys like Anthony Black, guys like Desmond Bane, and then fantastic screen setting from Wendell Carter to, obviously get these opportunities in the first place. Miami is definitely struggling. Norm Powell just recently checked into the game about a minute ago on this possession. Just quick swing. He likes the amount of space that he has. Jalen Suggs steps out to contest, and they miss the shot. It's yet another opportunity where the Heat just aren't able to convert on a shot that they don't hate. Anthony Black yet again able to get downhill off of this miss. Let's rewatch this play one more time. Paolo finds him on the hit ahead because Miami is struggling to match up properly in transition. They don't want to leave Paolo and Davion Mitchell, one-on-one with each other. That's not a matchup you love to see. So Wiggins is trying to communicate this switch, but Davion's not able to close out over to Anthony Black in transition here. They have to hold on with Wiggins, but because he was trying to close out over to Paolo and get that peel switch kind of going, Anthony Black gets a head of steam downhill. It's a nice spin move, nice finish. They're really struggling to get much going in these isolation possessions. And I mean, I understand that has been their identity, is playing this fast ISO ball this season for the Miami Heat. But I mean, against a team with so many good perimeter defenders, so many good one-on-one defenders, I feel like the Magic are really just okay with it. Yet another shot where it's like, sure, you get the three in this possession, but I mean, it's fairly well contested by the defense, and it's like, could you not have gotten something a little better there? This is the situation where you would love to see the Miami Heat slow it down a little bit, use more of that shot clock, get into something a little more, traditional. But obviously they have their identity. They're sticking to it. It was working for them in the first quarter, but, just Orlando's really stiffened up their defense in the second quarter. This is a bad shot from Paolo. I don't like the shot from him. If you go back, see the three from Wiggins. Suggs with the hit-ahead pass. I really think this might be something due to, the injury that he's dealing with or whatever. Obviously, Paolo playing on a minutes restriction in this game, I believe. But this is a situation where he catches the ball right here. It's Wiggins here. He can clearly drive underneath and try and get down to the rim. One-on-one matchup here with Wiggins. Paolo just go through his chest. This is something that's a little frustrating with Paolo. Sometimes his decision-making is not perfect. Again, just good job matching up in transition. Suggs is already back. Anthony Black is already back. Wendell Carter is already back. Obviously, they get this mismatch here, which you're a little scared of, but it's a good dig from Anthony Black, making him uncomfortable. Wendell Carter is playing this super fundamentally, staying to the inside. He recognizes that Anthony Black is going to dig. He has that help. He has Paolo behind him. Just a good job fundamentally of knowing how to play the switch. Again, just good individual defense from the Magic. Everyone's doing what they need to be doing. All right, continuing now through the game. It's going to be that high pick and roll kind of stuff you've seen from the Magic throughout this half. It's been working for them the entire time, as I've mentioned several times, but it's just going to be a little bit of an unforced error from Jalen Suggs. Obviously, I like the play design actually here because, Paolo can find this pass either over the top or through the pocket to Jalen Suggs. Jalen Suggs has space. They can play 4-on-3 basketball, fundamental stuff, right? It's just the screen is a little too aggressive and he gets called for the foul. It's tough. And so Eric Spoelstra, recognizing what worked for them previously on the last, kind of out of bounds play, he gets Norman Powell curling off the screen yet again. And Norman Powell, as you can see, is able to get this paint touch. He has options here. He can find Tyler Hero behind him for three. He can find Davion. He can find Bam through the pocket here. Wiggins can potentially cut. It's just good stuff. This is why Spo is one of the best coaches in the league. Obviously the Heat are not going to go down without a fight. Honestly, the Magic do a pretty good job of maintaining their defensive assignments. Everybody understands where they need to be. Paolo is able to stay with Wiggins. Tristan Da Silva stays with Bam. Jalen Suggs is able to stay with Davion. Anthony Black is able to stay with Tyler Hero. Wendell Carter is switched on to Norman Powell, which isn't a perfect matchup, but you're not really going to have a perfect matchup with the lineups that you have out there. You have Paolo and you have Wendell. Tyler Hero makes both free throws. It's going to be Paolo bringing the ball up yet again. They're going to run the same exact thing that they just tried to run with Jalen Suggs. Now they're going to get Anthony Black in. And obviously the reason they want to do that is because they want to get either Tyler Hero or I guess he's checked out of the game at this point. They want to get Tyler Hero or Norman Powell in this action. So they get Tyler Hero, switched out of here onto Bam. This is just phenomenal defense from Wiggins here, honestly. He plays over to Paolo to deny that driving lane, but is still in position to get back over to Anthony Black when the pass is made. Paolo makes a good read, honestly, finding Wendell in the corner. He has just enough space. Wendell Carter, like I've mentioned a couple times, is sort of a stretch big at this point. Got to take those shots to keep the defense honest, keep them respecting you when you're spotted up in the corner like this. It's a miss, but you don't hate the offensive procedure there for the Magic. Wiggins is able to get out in transition here, dribbles the ball off his foot. This is kind of a ridiculous play, but it does demonstrate kind of what the Heat do so well, why their offense has been so successful this season, is because now, after this play, their defense is in rotation. Paolo's out of position. They've got opportunities. Jaime Jaquez gets the ball back out to Davion Mitchell, and all of the defensive assignments for the Magic are messed up after that at this point. You have Paolo here telling Anthony Black to go over to Bam while Wendell Carter closes out to Wiggins. Jalen Suggs is on the ball. Tristan Da Silva is on Tyler Hero. Honestly, in this position, Wendell is making the right decision. Jalen Suggs and Tristan Da Silva, they're just playing their man, so they're making the right decision. The issue that I have here for the Magic is Paolo tells Anthony Black to go over to Bam, but the problem is Anthony Black is second late on that rotation because honestly, it should be Paolo making that closeout when leaving Anthony Black on Jaime Jaquez. So Anthony Black is a second late here because he didn't think he had to make that rotation. He thought that was Paolo's responsibility. I think it's Paolo's responsibility too, and that results in Bam getting two on the rim. But that really is the strength of the Heat offense. If they can get teams in rotation, they will find the open guy eventually, and they will get two on the rim or an easy open three. You're going to get an off-ball screen action this time, trying to get that going, but it's honestly just good defense from Wiggins yet again. Wiggins has really been, I think, Miami's best defender in this game, or in this quarter specifically. Just really the only guy who's able to navigate these screens, which is something that the Heat obviously have had problems doing. A little push from Davion Mitchell, and that'll be a foul. Off the inbounds, let's see what the Magic do here. 40 seconds left in the quarter, so only 11 on the shot clock, though, so you would like to ideally take your time. All right, jumping back in on this play here. As I mentioned before, you would like to take as much time off the clock as possible if you're the Orlando Magic in this situation. So let's see what they go to. If you look at the defense here that the Miami Heat are running, obviously, Miami Heat known for running zone. Eric Spoelstra loves to run that zone. In this possession, Orlando Magic actually are able to identify this zone. What initially looks like man coverage is actually a 2-3 zone. You've got Bam in the middle, obviously, and then the four guys around him. They get the ball in. They find the middle of the floor for Wendell Carter, and they're able to swing that across. This is just textbook stuff playing against the zone. Jamal Mosley just really has his guys locked in. Paolo Banchero obviously drains the three there, but Jamal Mosley has had his guys locked in on the just fundamental stuff in the second half. Pick and roll, get those paint touches, spray out, get to the rim. On defense, just stay to your man, stay at home, stay down. Most importantly, obviously they've given up a couple fouls here. That's a lot of Miami's offense, honestly, in the latter part of this second quarter was just free throws and stuff like that. But when you consider how the Heat want to play with that isolation, tempo-heavy stuff that they want to do, the Magic have done a great job of just doing the fundamental stuff, staying in front, staying on their man, getting back in transition, and that's how you shut down this Miami Heat team. This is going to be the last actual possession for the Heat here, and let's see what they go to. Davion Mitchell's going to work one-on-one. Jalen Suggs is a great defender. That's just a tough move. But that is the last possession for the Heat, and the last possession that I'm going to look at, because the last possession for Orlando is just a break. That's all I have in this video. Thank you, everybody, if you watched all the way through. Let me know if you'd like to see me talk about any other players, any other teams, anything like that. This is the third time that I've had to record this outro because my recording just stopped the first couple times, which was awesome. But yeah, hopefully I don't have to record it again. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.